my name is Rene Paredes, and this is the first of hopefully many podcasts celebrating and honoring Women's History Month at Lemoore College. So I have with me today three women who used to attend West Hills College as students, and now they work here at Lemoore College. So I have over here Randi Garcia.
Hi.
And Cameron Jones and Callie Branan. And all three started here as students, and they have really interesting stories of how they became students here and then how they, received their education to work here. So I wanted to start with Randi. And can you tell us a little bit about what your current role is here at Lemoore College?
Sure. My current role here at Lemoore College is a senior secretary in the Educational Services Department. So that means I get to work really closely on the backside of things and work with the VP and deans, and I get to really assist them and assist faculty with helping our students and their success.
So she runs the college. If you were wondering what they do, that's what she does. So how about you, Cameron?
So I recently just transitioned from Outreach and Recruitment to Senior Secretary for Career Technical Education, or CTE. Kind of like Randi, I kind of help the dean with anything they may need help with, faculty with anything they may need help with. I'm still learning the role. I literally have been in it like 3 weeks. I probably could talk more about my Outreach and Recruitment role more, but I recently just transitioned to Senior Secretary, which has been very exciting.
And she's doing great.
And last but definitely not least, Callie, tell us what you do here at Lemoore College.
Yeah, so I am the Director of Outreach and Recruitment here at Lemoore College. I've been at the college for some years now, but my current role, I do a lot of outreach with high schools, mostly working with the high school counselors, principals, high school teachers, and high school students. So all things high school related, dual enrollment, senior recruitment, lots of other kind of outreach as well.
That's awesome. So circling into that, and I'm going to keep with Callie for just a minute here. What is your educational background? Like, what was your journey? Just in a brief little synopsis. How did you start here at West Hills, and what's your journey been like?
I started here it was previously at West Hills College Lemoore back in 2011, and didn't really know what I was going to do. I just picked business admin because I was like, okay, I could get any job with a business admin degree. So that's the route I went. And I had some college completed from prior years. So I finished, took me about 1.5 years to finish here. And then I transferred to, at the time it was called Brandman University. And my undergrad was in business admin with a finance emphasis, which was absolutely horrible. And then as soon as I was done with that, I decided to do my MBA, and I gave up on the whole finance side of things. I was like, let me just do a straight master's in business administration.
So you have an MBA.
I have an MBA, yeah.
That is awesome. Cami, how about you?
So for me, I have a degree in history. My educational background is a little kind of crazy. I started out at Oregon State doing business. I thought I was going to go work for Nike, get fashion merchandising underneath my belt. Terrible with numbers. Even though I do a lot of that in my job, I'm going to learn. But I took a history class while I was at Oregon State, and I kind of remembered how much I loved history in high school, and just in general. I remember in English class, I chose a book on D-Day for English to write about. And that kind of just like sparked my interest. And then I came here, took some classes with you, and just continued to fall in love with it. I will never forget writing one of my papers on the history of Barbie. So everyone, if you need to write a paper for history class, do something you're interested in. Trust me, it'll make your life so much easier. But that's currently what I have right now. A goal of mine is to eventually get my master's, hopefully maybe communications. Haven't fully decided yet, but that's kind of like where I'm at in my educational journey.
Awesome, Cam. And Randi, how about you? What did you do before or what was your education like before?
So funny enough, I was actually a stay-at-home mom for a lot of years, a military wife at the time. And so I just really felt like, okay, it's now or never if I go back to school or not. And so I literally showed up on campus one day just to come in and talk to somebody to see like what my options were. And they were really great up front. They helped me. They showed me who I needed to talk to. So I started that whole conversation, and it just kind of led to let them know what I was interested in, and that kind of led to me starting with actually child development. I was going to look at child development, but I ended up switching over to elementary teacher prep. So I had graduated here from West Hills College Lemoore at the time, and I had my my AA and elementary teacher prep for that. And then I went on to Fresno Pacific. So over there, it was really great. I really liked their style of cohorts. I really got to know my cohort really well. In fact, we still have dinners now and get together every once in a while. But I ended up leaving Fresno Pacific with my bachelor's for teacher education and like K through 12. And then from there, I just decided I kept falling in love with teaching. And while I was here, I think it was like the end of my AA degree and into my Fresno's like bachelor degree, Fresno Pacific. I was a SI, so that's a supplemental instructor. And while I was doing that, I just really fell in love with teaching. I got to do English and math, and I was excited about doing all of that stuff. And so from there, I am now actually in my master's program currently. I had to take a little bit of time off in between, but I'm going back for my master's in English at Arizona State right now.
That's awesome. So one of the things that I heard Randi talk about is the fact that she was a stay-at-home mom, and so I'm going to just kind of pick up with that and what you did before you came in. I'm going to ask the two of you the same type of question. But so how did Lemoore College help you as a stay-at-home mom to be able to adjust to becoming a full-time student from a full-time stay-at-home mom? Because that's a job, by the way.
Yes.
It's a job.
Yes, it is. They were really, Lemoore College is great. They have a lot of different support and resources that is available to any of their students. It's actually amazing. I did not realize how much support I would get here. So that was really great. I just couldn't believe that, I thought I was going to come back. I was going to have to do a lot of it on my own. They had support classes that were kind of what they consider co-rec classes for some like your math and English, which I thought was fantastic because here I am coming back and I was like, do I really remember everything from English? Do I remember everything from math? So I was able to join those. I was able to go to the ACE lab. So I was able to get some support for other classes if I really needed it. So, and they were really encouraging. I met some great mentors here, and they really encouraged me on my journey just through this whole time, and they still do.
That's awesome. So I'm going to head back over to Callie for a sec because you were a military spouse, and you actually were in the military, and you're also a military spouse, right? So tell us a little bit about how Lemoore College supports veterans and veteran families, military families.
So yes, I was in the Navy prior to coming to Lemoore College, and I actually came to the college, I think 2 weeks after I got out of the service. And that was like a big decision for one to get out, and then deciding, okay, I need to go to school like right now. And I ended up here at Lemoore College, and right away I was able to start using my veterans benefits, also known as the GI Bill. I had a great counselor at the time. His name is Gary, and he really made sure I had all the right courses. And so the transition was pretty easy for me, going from working crazy hours in the Navy to becoming a full-time student. I think I was so used to working so much that I was like, okay, I need a job too. So I also did work study. But one of the roles I've had here too has been helping other veterans with their transition from the military to the civilian world. So kind of done full circle with that. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, and we have a pretty large veterans community here, and some of that, I know you started the coffee and camaraderie and things like that when you were running the veterans.
Yeah,
so
those were fun. I miss those.
Yeah, because there is, I think this is true for everyone. There's when you're in the military, there's a culture that you lose when you move back to the civilian life. I think when you're a stay-at-home mother, there's a culture there as well, and sometimes you feel supported, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's a very lonely job, and sometimes it's a great job. And so having that connection that you both found here here at Lemoore College, I think, is amazing. Cameron, you had a very different journey into Lemoore College than Randi and Callie. You want to tell us a little bit about?
Yeah, so for me, after high school, I decided to go straight to a university, Oregon State. Go Beavs! Still like to keep on with that. But I did make the decision like halfway through my first year there to come back home because one, it was expensive. I was losing a scholarship because they told you for the scholarship you needed a 4.0 the whole time you were there, and I was not a 4.0 student. I maybe had been in high school, but once I got to college, I was not. So made a decision to come back home. I came back home about March, started classes in June, got the fly crew job on campus, got super involved with like ASB, which is now ASG now, clubs, all kinds of stuff like that on campus. So that's kind of like my story of how I got to Lemoore College. A big reason why I came is because one, I'm from Lemoore, very local, literally lived down the street. And then my mom even went here when they were like the portables that everyone likes to talk about before this campus was even built. So that's something that has always been kind of like a push for me. So yeah, that's kind of how I got to Lemoore College.
The good old days when we were on cinnamon.
Yes.
Yeah, that was actually right before I started teaching here. Or well, I started in the portables too. So yeah, it's that bittersweet memory, right?
Yes.
So you have more of a, I hate to use the word traditional pathway, but I think most people, when they think of college students, they tend to think, oh, you graduated from high school, you started college, you didn't start a family first, you didn't go into the military first. So how did Lemoore College help you with that particular aspect of a journey? Because you went for a semester and then came back.
Yeah, so how they helped me is I think for me, when I was younger, I was very quiet, I was very shy. I think ASG helped me to come out of my shell and kind of like become who I am today. And I think just Lemoore College in general, it was such a welcoming place for me, and like I could just like be myself and meet new people. I think that's one thing people don't really realize when they come to Lemoore College. You think, oh, it's such a small school, we're such a small community, but you meet so many different people that you don't even like realize, and you get to hear so many different stories and backgrounds. The people in ASG, we were all from different backgrounds. Some, like you said, some didn't start right after high school. They weren't the traditional student, as what we would call them. Some of them had like lived their lives, and I think that was like the beauty of Lemoore College and how they helped me is one, it helped me learn more about my community and where I came from, as well as learn more about myself and who I am and who I'd wanted to become. So I really think that's what Lemoore College helped me be.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anything else about how Lemoore College kind of helped you with your journey? I mean, going and getting a master's degree from being a stay-at-home mom is a huge leap. And I know you're still a mom. You never stop being a mother, by the way, no matter how old your children are. But like, how did Lemoore College kind of help you jumpstart that?
So my kids are actually teenagers now. So when I started, this was probably, oh my gosh, how many years ago was this? This was probably about 6 years ago. And so for me, it was trying to, like the classes that they offered, I just had to kind of use my time wisely and make sure, like, while my kids were in school, I was in school. So that was a big thing for me. And then I made sure try not to take evening classes for myself. That way I could be home for them after school, do things like that. I have a son who is on the spectrum, and so he also required a lot of attention and work, and we were constantly working with his school, IEPs, things like that. And so I had to make sure that I could make any of those meetings and stuff like that. And what was really great about Lemoore College is, you know, the teachers here are very understanding. And when you have a discussion, don't be afraid to go talk to your teachers because when you have a discussion and you get to know them, you just form this relationship and this bond that they will help you and they will guide you and they'll give you resources, you know, anything that you really need, because Lemoore College is great. It's really about student success here. And all of the teachers, I think I haven't met one that isn't willing to kind of go above and beyond and do something for their students. But yeah, I think for me, it was just watching my time, making sure that it was, during my kids' school time, that kind of stuff. And then for me, it was mainly, if I did have a night class finally, it was finding that support system outside of the school and making sure that I had somebody watching my kids while I actually went to class.
Yeah, I actually, a lot of our faculty were parents while they were in school. That was something that I felt very isolated because I was a parent while I was in school as well. And I felt very isolated, like I was the only one. And then when I came here as a faculty member, I found out there was a lot of people who raised kids and had, and were in school and working and all of that. And that juggling and that balance actually makes you a really well-rounded person. But it also makes you a very tired person.
Yes.
And so that can be a challenge as well. Callie, is there anything that you wanted to add about how Lemoore College kind of helped you to transition from that military culture into?
Well, I didn't really transitioning wasn't super challenging for me. Maybe because I had the support system already at home and here at the college. I think what Lemoore College really helped me with was figuring out what I wanted to do with my life, even though that's still a question that we all have.
Yeah.
But as I said earlier, I kind of randomly picked business administration because I didn't really know. And my first semester here, I was able to get a work study job. So I was working at the front desk in the student services building and answering phone calls, sharpening pencils, doing all the grunt type work, which I was totally fine with. But the more I was interacting with students, the more I was interacting with faculty, staff, the more I was like, okay, I kind of like this. And I really put in a lot of effort to learn a lot, even just as a student worker, that by the time I finished my associate's degree, I was able to step in a temporary role as back then it was called a student services technician or student services assistant. Now they're technicians. But even in that role, I was learning more about the systems. And even back then, I was doing outreach, going to outreach events and planning events. And I think it was that point that I realized that, okay, I do not want to be an accountant. I do not want to do anything with finance, but I want to have my own program. That was always my goal. And now it took I was in several roles before I got to really where I wanted to be. But when I finally had the opportunity to be the coordinator of Veterans Upward Bound, I was like, this is what I wanted years ago, and it's great. So I wouldn't have known that had I not been here at Lemoore College to begin. But never in my life would I have thought, I'm going to work in education. Yeah.
It gets sneaky, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to kind of wrap things up here. A little bit of a summary. What I'm hearing from Randi and from Callie and from Cam is that getting involved at the college is kind of key in whatever that looks like. And obviously, if you have, 2 jobs and a family and all those things, maybe ASG won't be something that you can do, but maybe just connecting with your faculty and connecting with other students on more of a one-on-one or small group, that might fit for you. Maybe being a student worker and working on campus, because the great thing about being a student worker is you have a limited number of hours, and we have to work around your schedule, right? They can't say, well, I'm sorry, you have to be at work when you have to be in class. But it also allows you to get to know everyone on campus, because everyone's in and out of the buildings. And of course, being involved in ASG and the you were on the fly
crew, yeah.
fly crew, which they go. Does it still exist?
It does not still exist, but we used to have to go to campus events, take videos, pictures. We ran the social media. So we were also involved in that way, and seeing other students attending events was pretty cool, and just getting to know them as well was also fun.
Yeah, and so you're kind of everywhere,
yes,
right? Everywhere and meeting people, and I think we've actually hired people to do that now, which is I think what we're doing literally here in this space, which I think is awesome. But that's what it got started. So if we hadn't done that, right?
Yep.
And obviously it was a good program because we're continuing it in different formats. So just as kind of a wrap up, the great thing about all three of the women that are here with me today is that they all took advantage of what opportunities they had in terms of education. And I do want to end on it because I do teach history. I feel like I need to end with some history, right, Cam?
Yes, yes, always.
That currently 60% of college graduates right now in the United States are female, and that's causing its own kind of upheaval as men are actually trying to figure out what their new roles are, what their roles are in society. We have all these new jobs that are requiring degrees, or degrees are preferable. But here at West Hills, I think it's 75% of our students are female. Like, we are very, very heavy female. And so there are a lot of women on campus, but it hasn't always been that way. There was a time when women weren't even allowed to go to school. And so I think it's really great to see so many women in education. And I'm going to do a little plug here. We have a couple of other little shorter videos that'll be coming up this month on the history of women in education, and another on women's clothing and fashion, which is just a passion for me personally, as a person who I do dress like a normal person, but I also love a corset and a hoop skirt. So those kinds of things. So keep an eye out for those on our socials as well. And when you come on campus, come and check out the library. Come and check out what's going on campus. We have a lot of amazing things that are going to be happening for Women's History Month throughout the month of March. So we really encourage you to be a part of our culture on our campus, because it's easy to just get in your car, come to class, then leave. There's a lot that happens on campus behind the scenes that helps you to feel connected. And it definitely, if I can speak for all of you, it helped make you who you are today. And I know all three of these ladies pretty well, and they're awesome. So it helped to make them awesome. And so Lemoore College can also help to make you awesome too. So thank you so much for taking some time to spend with us.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks, Renee,
you.
for having us on.
And you are awesome. So I just had to throw that out there.
Thank you.